how could this happen to me? It is a very sad day whenever you see a blue state have the effects of voting blue.
Hmm.
I know you and me both cry very much when this happens to them. It's very sad. How could this happen to them? They did everything they could.
They made their mistakes, but
Yeah, do not call it a grave. It is the future you chose, and it's sincere as well. And this is obviously referring to migrants in the United States because the whole bosom to the blue areas thing seems to have kind of happened, and
is it really busing them? I think most of the
flying them.
flying them, I suppose, because most of the migration that I'm aware of, the illegal migration seems to be just centering in California. That state is just massively overrepresentative with Mexicans.
Well, it's illegal immigrants talking about legal aliens, so that's what we'll get to. But we'll start off just by promoting active measures, this being the book club, which is about the KGB trying to destroy America. And it seems the Democrats have done a worse job, or at least more damage, than the KGB. So there we are. Go and check that out. Otherwise, we shall begin with the news. Well, we always like to bring up the southern border encounter graph because it's just good data for any of your friends who don't seem to believe that mass illegal immigration to America is a problem. Go to the next link. I'm very sorry, I forgot I have a little box. And you can see yourself. There's a link in the notes, of course. There we are. So this is the graph. Southwest land border encounters by month. The orange line is when the orange man was in charge.
Oh, okay.
That blue line is when the ghost got in charge, and all the other lines are the ghost running the country now, his time in office. Obvious points. Ghost, bad at this. Orange Man did a good job.
Orange Man, good.
Keeping out illegal
Not heard that one before.
Yeah, so I mean, well, we have the data. So, I mean, this, I believe, was his best year in particular, but the rest of his years were obviously way better than...
And this is before he even got to properly build his wall.
Yeah, that's before he even...
It would have been so big, so beautiful.
Alrighty. But the numbers are absolutely mental, just to keep in mind. I mean, like, you can see there, it goes from 500k to millions. It's like, oh, great, fantastic.
I think that's 50k, is it not? Or is that just across?
The total is at the end.
Oh, yeah, totals, yeah.
There's also the other aspects which are depressing, because, of course, it's kids, it's all unaccompanied minors. It's not.
They're putting them in cages, Callum. The children in cages, no.
Yeah, no. We can see that it's overwhelmingly single adults and then family units who are breaking illegally because you have money, I want it, give it to me.
These blue states say that they will give me money. They say they will give me sanctuary.
No, but I think it's a very compelling argument from the people breaking into America illegally, which is, give me that for free. Which, yeah, how could you argue against that?
I mean, when I was 7 years old, I often said that.
Well, you're just like, I'm going to open a sweet shop.
No, I'd just go up to my parents, I'd point at something and I would say, give me that for free.
All right. It's a good strat.
It worked more often than not.
But as I mentioned, the numbers are mental. I mean, we can see here, this is Pew Research Center. This is the most up-to-date stuff, which is a little bit out of date because it's from January. But, I mean, look at the graph there. This is the combined data from all the way back to 2000. And as you can see, drastically going down over time as trying to deal with the encounters. I love, like, back in the day, you used to have consensus that this was a problem.
Yes.
And then, of course, Trump comes in and is like, we need to really stamp down on this. Unfortunately, in 2019, you can see there's a huge spike. We'll get to the reason for that.
Oh, right, okay.
Not his fault, but well, he managed to kill it immediately, which was a good job.
I mean, all of these, why would you want to kill it? Every single one of these people is Robin Hood.
Well, yeah, Joe Biden seems to believe that, because as you can see, as soon as Joe Biden gets in, what is that, a month after, it goes from nothing to 200k
well
per month.
Imagine the voting blocks.
It's a very good argument. Why bother? You can also see here, this is just expulsions and apprehensions. There's some other data that's pretty cool. This one's pretty cool. This is where they're coming from exactly. So they say here, some of the biggest increases in encounters have involved people from Colombia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Peru, and Venezuela. So not Mexicans, in case you're wondering.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can see the Mexican number is pretty stable. The other countries is the bit that massively grows there. And that's the newbies.
Hate when graphs are formatted like this.
Yeah.
They look terrible, but carry on.
You want to see a better graph of that?
Yeah, go for it.
I've got one. There you are.
Oh, that makes it way easier. Why don't they just present it like this all the time?
That's a series of healthy graphs, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
People listening, it's just all the countries mentioned, including Ecuador, Brazil, blah, blah, blah.
And they just skyrocket.
From like 2007 to 2021, and basically zero, and then 2021 happens, and it's just up. The green line go up.
Up from less than something that's barely even noticeable on there to, on an average, in the mid, hovering around 50,000, 40,000, and Ecuador's almost 100k.
I mean, if we are truly to believe that all these people are fleeing war, I'm very sad. I didn't know that literally all of South America
was a bloodbath.
It's World War III, is it?
It's an absolute bloodbath down there.
I came back and I just what's happened?
It's like Vietnam times 20. Twen?
Twen?
That's right. You have to come up with whole new numbers for it.
That's how they say it in Spanish, isn't it? Twen?
Oh yeah, they go, oh, Twen.
Oh, Biro love. Anyway, so moving on, because there's that point earlier about there was a spike in Trump's presidency. That's a fair point. What happened? And the deets in here, this is from Politico, just detailing that basically a whole bunch of for some reason they call it the Triangle countries, Central Triangle countries. You ever heard this before?
I think I have, but it slipped straight out of my brain again.
It's a series of the Central American states that, the rest of us would just call Central American states, but I don't know why.
Oh, is it
The
around
weird American.
Is it around the thin part connecting North to South America that makes up Mexico and some of the islands and countries surrounding that?
No, it's Guatemala, like El Salvador, that part. For some reason, that part of Central America is called the Triangle. Whole other conversation.
All right, okay.
Just weird to me. Anyway, the response from Donald Trump was that he threatened Mexico to put a 5% tariff on everything unless they stopped their border, because it's their border that was porous at the bottom.
I mean, that makes sense. So they were just like, haha, well, here's a load of illegals for you.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm going to tax you. And then, as we saw from earlier, like, is it that one? No, it's, oh, damn it, I'm forgetting which one it is. It is this one. It dies.
Straight away.
It spikes and then it disappears. Amazing. If you want to enforce your border, it turns out you can. It's just political.
Just enforce it.
Yeah, just enforce it, idiots. But the point being that no one has been happy as a result. I mean, that's just the history at this point. And I think everyone's been well aware of what's been going on. So, but the red states are particularly not happy, but the blue states, I thought this was a good thing. I thought this is great.
This is what they wanted.
Which is why we have a hero. A true hero America deserves. Massachusetts. Mishishush. I don't know. There you are. Joe Biden over there. I can say Massachusetts, but it is a stupid word. And Americans need to learn that it's a stupid word, because it is. Love the state. Never been.
I'm sure it's a lovely.
Just pandering.
I'm sure it's a lovely place.
Yeah, but there we are. You can see here, this is the presidential election. Not a single part of that map there is even slightly for Trump. Overwhelmingly for Biden. 65%, apparently. Amazing. Anyway, but apart from that, well, they're nestled away, far from the border, as you may have noticed. This is a map here, just showing that
not a single chance of them ever encountering any of these people who are coming in. I mean, the fact of the matter is, as far as I can tell, is that they mainly want the migration because they wouldn't admit it.
They just want mass illegal aliens to go to your house.
Yes, not theirs. Almost like they know that it's a bad thing for you, but they see you as some kind of lower class poor.
Don't worry. We in the Democratic Party, I don't know why I've joined, but I have. We have moved on.
Are you voting blue?
Yeah,
no matter who. Oh,
literally Satan. I'll do it because I'm bored. No,
but isn't Satan red?
I think it depends on his political views.
Oh, okay, right.
Just the skin color. Racist. Anyway, but the point being that, well, they've moved on. They are now fully on the Angela Merkel side of mass immigration, which is not only do we want mass immigration, but no, we no longer want it to just be in your house. We want it in our house too.
Oh, all right, okay.
Schaffen das. We can do this, and we have the lady to do it. This is a new governor.
Oh dear,
Massachusetts, newly elected, previously Republican. She's Democrat, so she turned up, did the little Merkel thing. Do you remember the little Merkel thing?
Remind me.
The little Merkel thing is my earbud not working. So
that's fine.
Throw it that way. Whenever she would give a speech about like we can do this, she would stand there with her hands weirdly like this or
doing
something.
Some kind of cult-like symbol.
Yeah, I don't know if people can see it, but if you look up Angela Merkel with VS Schaffen das, we can do this, then you always get that weird Wojak of her.
Seems very disturbing.
This lady here, of course, promises support for migrants in Massachusetts. This is just after she's been elected. She's very excited to tell everyone that we're gonna do this, guys. Well, you may remember Massachusetts is also where Martha's Vineyard is and where this happened.
Yes.
The Venezuelan migrants, the whole 50 of them turned up and the whole thing collapsed. I mean, you can see here that they're talking about the fact that this is a small part of the wider crisis in the whole state. I didn't know there was a huge crisis of illegal aliens in Massachusetts. Do you want to know how many?
How many?
2,000.
Oh, okay.
2,000 Haitians.
Has Massachusetts declared itself a sanctuary state?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but these religious leaders here who are like, "Oh, Martha's Vineyard was terrible. Hell on earth." But also with the hell we had to experience of also 2,000 whole Haitians. I mean, I think anyone living in Texas is probably laughing about that because it's bugger all, obviously. It's also 0.1% of Haitian society. So in case you think that importing foreigners en masse will help the foreigners, I mean, you've helped no one. It's not really done anything. But there we are. You've saved the world. Should we check in on how the progress is going, though?
All
Because
right, okay.
she's, going to bring progress to the state. Here we are. This was the news. Start of August. Declares a state of emergency because of the migrants.
All right.
The whole too many of them. Because, what do you mean 3,000? What are you, mental? Just for reference.
A state of emergency presumably will just mean that she can do whatever she wants.
Well, not that. She wants more money and No, she wants more money from the federal government and also more resources because, oh my
That will
God.
definitely go into all of the resources and the institutions they have to help all of these migrants. Not that I would ever suggest, obviously, that any American politician is corrupt.
Except all of them. But the thing is about this that I find amazing is that she comes out and be like, yes, we've helped some migrants, but I'm not paying for it. Just at day one.
The taxpayer is paying for it.
But not even the taxpayer. She's like, none of us. Like the federal government. We'll just get them to do it. Not even the state government. Can't even try.
So the federal tax money.
Yes. Right. Okay. So that lasted about a month of Wir schaffen das. She says in here, we can no longer do this alone. We need federal partnership, federal funding, and urgent federal action. Other issues?
For 3,000 people, 2,000 people. How many was it?
It was 2,000. I think by now it's probably 4,000 maybe.
Okay.
What does it matter? It's still a tiny amount.
Well,
it's not a huge number.
But that's the thing, though. These states up in New England, it's funny in a Schadenfreude sort of way to go, haha, it's happening to you. But the fact of the matter is that, as far as I'm aware, please correct me if I'm wrong, the states of New England have very stable demographics and have for a very long time, which could be factored into part of the reason why they are comparatively so peaceful and successful. Also, why they all vote blue so consistently, because as we've mentioned, they don't have to run into this sort of thing in the street. But they know, because that's what they're voting for, they're voting for the red states to be punished. They know that that will happen to them if they suddenly open the floodgates for it. So they're turning around and going, now I am a MAGA Republican. We need to keep the migrants out. We're going to build a beautiful wall around
50 Venezuelans and Martha's Vineyard. What the hell's wrong with you? That's a humanitarian crisis.
Exactly that. They've gone with the deport, deport, deport slogans. So the fact of the matter is, I don't want to really take much Schadenfreude in it because as much as, these people are getting what they're voting for, I don't want the entirety of America to be a desolate hellhole.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not supporting it in that way, but I would like every state in America
to actually flourish instead of
to be able to do what Massachusetts has, while Massachusetts also maybe stops voting for policies that destroy the states around the southern border.
I mean, as I mentioned, they did actually have a Republican governor. I don't know anything about him and the local politics. It's not my place. But what is my place is to point out that, well, you vote in a moron who sits there and is like, wir schaffen das, we will take the migrants. Okay, well, what happens? Instantly state of emergency. Yep. She goes on in here just to whine about Ron DeSantis, saying that the far-right governor, Ron DeSantis, arranged 50 Venezuelans to come to Martha's Vineyards. I mean, that's never not going to be funny to me when they sit there and be like, God, he sent a whole 50 of them. Ugh. It's like, yeah, how do you think everyone else feels at the south, on the border? Every, hour?
The people on the border towns must live in a constant state of fear, and it's pretty horrifying to think about. Because it's not just that there are foreigners coming in, it's that every single one of these people is an unknown quantity in your neighborhood.
I'm just going to do
no stability there.
I wish I could do the quick maths in my head, but I'm too stupid. So I'm going to have to do it like this. So say we've got 2 million coming in. Talk amongst yourselves. Divide by 12.
All right.
And then divide by 30. So that's 5,000 a day.
5,000 a day.
5,000 a day. Whereas 50 in Martha's Vineyard was hell on earth.
Oh, dear.
Truly terrible what Ron DeSantis has done. Anyway, but that's not the only thing, because then some more days passed after she realized that this might have been a bit of a mess. And now she says it's a federal problem. They've done this to us. This is Joe Biden's fault. I mean, she's really putting on the MAGA cap. That's pretty cool.
Yep, there we go.
And then it got even worse. She comes out and says, I need the National Guard because there's just too many, damn you.
Do you know the funny thing is that not only is she more like when lefties come out and say these things, they have the permission to do it, and she probably will get it done in ways that the red states just aren't allowed to because she'll have federal backing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Martha's Vineyard is the place where all of these Democrat politicians go to retire and have their own private homes. They don't want their private home overrun with migration, so they're going to do whatever they can to protect New England.
Do you want to know, because you asked earlier how many there were. I couldn't tell you for the date previously, but for this date here at the end of August, we do have the number, which is 6,000 migrant families.
Families?
Yes.
All right.
Do you want to remember that it was 2 million per year crossing the southern border?
That's about slightly over a day.
Yeah.
Some of the southern states.
You took a couple days worth of people. Good job. I mean, it really is a drop in the bucket. And the response from the governor is that this is literally hell on earth. I need the National Guard in emergency situations now.
But even a drop in the bucket, they know can soon become a tidal wave. So they're like, right, we've got to shut this down.
I love that. Like,
but if Texas did the same thing, they're just a bunch of fascist racists.
But if you take a tiny amount of what Texas has to deal with and everyone else on the southern border, and that will bring you to your knees. And it's like that meme, the guy with the knives and guns going into his back.
Yep.
Or he's in Massachusetts Texas. Sleeping, just like, oh no, I'm suffering so hard. Anyway, but it's just sad to say the least. I mean, going back to the border question, because I mean, you add up the numbers, about 6 million. So good job. You took about 0.1% of the problem.
Yep.
Make up 2% of the population of the country, but yeah, 0.1% of the problem. I mean, frankly, not their fair share. I mean, if they actually wanted to do their fair share, they'd have to increase it 20-fold. They're not going to do that. It's not be silly. But they're not the only ones either. We have Miss Merkel over there. Like, there's something about her as well. Like, not to be rude, but
there is a shared physiognomy between women like her and Merkel, isn't there?
Yeah. Is that just me?
No, I'm seeing it as well.
Being mental? I could just be being mental. But whatever.
We're always being bonkers Brexit Britain on this podcast.
Oh, this isn't talk radio. Please don't. The left have gone mad. Sorry.
They've gone bonkers.
I've
lost the loony plot they have.
I'm not trying to take the piss, but there is the occasional like boomer host who's just like, they used to be sensible a year ago. It's like, oh man, you don't get the depth of the problem, do you? But he's trying. But that's not the only thing. There is one more. There's another guy who decided to do this. This is the New Jersey governor who also says he can't handle it. There's too much. Why? There's more than two of them. Oh, I literally can't live. Wir schaffen nicht das, or however the Germans speak. But there we are. That is, well, what will happen to you? And if you think, how could this happen to me? This is how. I mean, I hate to be rude, as you mentioned. It's not nice that this is happening to these parts of the United States. I want them to flourish rather than collapse.
But I want all the states of the United States to be able to flourish.
Yeah.
That's why they're supposed to be, united. Is it supposed to be beneficial for all of them, not just a few of them?
So the situation currently that you're going to sit there and be like, yeah, you guys, you get 6 million migrants, we get 1,000, and that's equal. Sorry, how about zero for both? How about zero illegal aliens? How about you just take the ones that are actually useful to your country through the legal means?
You said the guy with protecting with the knives in his back, and it reminds me of the other version of that meme where it's the girl and the guy talking, and she's like, oh my God, I just took in 1,000 migrants. Can you believe it? And he's just there with knives in his back going,
6 million.
I can't believe it, dear. I can't believe it. Yeah, there's every knife.
Like a Texan's house looks like this, so a Massachusetts house can look like
yeah.
Anyway, there's some meme formats for people who are bored and know how to use Photoshop. Otherwise, that is the news there, which is at least some of them are getting their own medicine, as sad as it is to see the damage being done.
Thanks for watching that segment from the podcast Lotus Eaters. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did and want to support us, then you could subscribe to the website for as little as £5 a month and get access to all of the premium videos and articles we have on there. For instance, we've got the Symposium, number 33, Stelios' show, where the most recent episode is talking about historical inevitability. If you want to follow Stelios and find out what he's doing, you can do so on Twitter at, and I will butcher this, Panagiotou90ST. Thank you and goodbye.